Welcome to Screener to Stream It,
where we take a look at a movie that's in theaters now
versus one you can stream at home,
and we try to decide which one should you go with. This week, we went to see War for the Planet of the Apes. I'm not going to make a guerrilla warfare pun. I'm just not going to do it. But there was plenty of action, and that means violence.
and we like violence.
Basically, it's the continuing story. If you've seen the previous Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Caesar has all of his ape friends. I don't know what the technical term they like, so I'm going to go with apes every time and probably say it way too many times. Most of them are chimpanzees, but they have all kinds. They don't discriminate, as long as you're an ape. Anyway, so they've got their band living in the woods as humanity has been dying off from the virus, and none of that spoilers because it happened in the last two movies. Anyway, soldiers show up to hunt them down. Bad things happen. So basically the apes are trying to live in peace and leave the humans alone, and the humans won't leave them alone. That's kind of the gist. So we had a lot of great performances. Of course, Andy Serkis is always great with the motion capture stuff. His performances really come through, and that's a testament to his acting and the tech. It's on both sides there. And the artists that help refine all that stuff. And a really great story, I thought, like a good continuation as sequels go. So what are we going to rate this one?
We're going to give it 4 stars. And, the summer started out and we saw a lot of not really good movies, and it seems like we've been seeing a lot better here. I'm happy with the 4-star rating on this. This was a good movie.
It was a solid 4 stars. It earned every one.
It did.
In fact, we had a discussion whether it was 4 or 5 because we all really liked it.
It did.
But we decided on 4 in the end, and I think that was appropriate. Which it's good. It's great. But
one thing I would like to talk about is the CGI or the graphics.
Yes.
So we mentioned a lot. Not a big fan of CGI when it's done badly. It's just really, really bad.
Absolutely.
When CGI is done good, you don't know that it's CGI.
Yes.
And I could not tell you. I honestly cannot tell you. And I should have looked it up to sound smarter, but
where
I didn't.
It starts and where it stops.
Was it did they take guys in suits and did they have animatronics and blend it kind of, Jurassic Parky at all? Was it 100% CGI? I'm going to guess it was probably 100% CGI.
Yeah, I saw a few production photos, and if I'm remembering correctly, the one I saw it was Andy Serkis with the Colonel. I cannot believe I just forgot his name. Woody Harrelson. And it was just a still from them, and Andy Serkis was in this white suit with a blue cap on his head, and it had all the marker dots on all the joints and stuff. So no, he was completely replaced.
And there was a scene in the movie, which it's not spoilers, but there's a scene in the movie where they're riding horses. There's about 4 of the apes, and they're different apes. There's a gorilla and an orangutan, and they're riding horses. Now we've seen this in the other ones. But I'm thinking it's a very specific scene because in the other ones they're riding the horses, they're attacking, it's quick cuts and action.
Yeah.
But it's that western shot, and there's the 4 horses, and they're slowly galloping across the screen, and the movement that up and down, with the gallop.
It was flawless.
Oh, it was so good and
flawless.
Makes you mad. Makes you that you see bad CGI and stuff, and you're like,
right.
If they can do that.
We've come to the point, why would you even put a bad CGI? I'd rather see a bad, cheap miniature effect than bad CGI. Because frankly, it looks better.
Think about the apes. All the hair.
Oh my gosh.
All the hair. And then they have the facial, they can emote and things like a human can. So you have all those facial features and then the hair and then, oh my goodness, and then all the different versions and types of apes. Man, it's done so well.
I completely agree. It's just it's a point where somewhere in your mind it's got to be CGI, but you don't question it.
No.
And that's how it needs to be done. As long as you don't question it, you believe it, and if you believe it, you're hooked. So
and it was a good story. It wasn't a great plot wise. It wasn't a great plot. It wasn't something so original and never been done before.
No, it basically.
But it was a good story.
Basically, ended up kind of being, without being spoilery, kind of a revenge piece. And looking at the turns life can take when you don't, focus on the good path versus this revenge path, which is, more fun, because it does lead to violence, and of course we like that, but I don't know, I liked it. As you said, and that's kind of where we come down to 4 stars or 5. 5, for me, really has to just resonate so hard that I will turn right around and watch it again immediately. And I will watch this one again, absolutely. But it not quite to that level, but it was great.
And what I was thinking wasn't what I got. It was War for the Planet of the Apes. And I was picturing a planetary war.
Like World War III with apes.
With apes,
just lots of fighting and killing. And it wasn't exactly that. In fact, it wasn't that at all.
No,
really.
It wasn't. Which is probably a good thing. Once again, we talked about scale. If it had been at that scale, it would have been hard. It would have been hard to do. It would have been hard to care about characters. There's not a lot of apes left, and there's not a lot of humans left when the movie starts. So technically, it is like the war for the planet.
True.
But it's more of like 2 tribes. It's like a tribe of humans and a tribe of apes. And
they did kind of allude, more hinted, they didn't really even say it, but that there may be more pockets out there. They're just they're all so disconnected that it's not like a global united force of humans versus, again, just the small tribes.
Which humanity has been wiped out by the disease that causes
the virus that from the first movie in the set, and then that has continued,
But it was just such a much smaller scale. I was expecting this huge piece of, fighting and wide camera shots of, Lord of the Rings and Battle of the Five Armies.
And Braveheart with apes.
But no, it wasn't. It was very personal. It was very in your face. It was very about the characters. On one side, you had Caesar, and I cannot remember Woody Harrelson's character now. I was trying to think
Colonel.
of the Colonel.
They just call him the Colonel. I don't know.
He's kind of leading humanity. Caesar's leading the apes. And, they have this small little group, and they're both fighting for survival, basically. And the weirdest thing, and they did it really well, which makes it weird, is when you watch a movie, a lot of times it is the humans versus whatever. Humans versus the aliens, humans versus the dinosaurs, humans. And it makes it very easy to know who the good guys are and who to pull for.
Right.
Because there's the humans. That's us.
Right.
Go
That's
us.
how you identify.
It's the home team. And in War for the Planet of the Apes, like, there are positive and negatives for both. And you feel for both. Both sides do evil things, both sides do good things, and you genuinely feel sorry for both the apes and the humans. And I think that's very hard to pull off.
It is. And I was going to say, even before you said that, I was really impressed by, we're going to go with the villain, the antagonist. Because he wasn't exactly evil. I didn't think he was crazy either. He was just very driven to a point that maybe seemed like madness, but no, he was just very convicted that this is what he believed that he had to do, for his own people.
He made me conflicted.
Right.
Because you want to hate him. It would be so easy to hate him because that would make the apes the
initially you kind of did, but
the
more you get to know him, you're like, man, he's actually a really interesting character.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The more the story goes on, the more his character develops, and the more you kind of understand where he's coming from.
Which I think that really all the Planet of the Apes, since the very first one with Charlton Heston, I love that movie. They have all been pretty much... some more clever than others, commentaries on society in general and making a point of some kind. And this one, I think, was making that point about, your enemy, they're people too, so to speak. They have their own reasons for what they're doing. It's not just all black and white like you might want to think it.
Wow, it's a lot deeper than that went.
Boom.
I really think the older ones, the Charlton Heston 70s versions of Planet of the Apes.
The first one, love it. The rest of them, hit and miss. I watch them all again, though. I would.
But I thought those were more kind of like, those were on the nose, slapping you in the face with their
the
message.
First one especially had a very kind of poke you in it with it. This one is a bit more subtle.
Right, and I didn't feel that way in this one. This one, you put it together as it went, and you're like, oh.
Which I like the subtlety, because if you're not careful, it comes across as preaching, and in a movie, nobody really wants that, because you just be subtle with your points, and people will think about it.
There is a perfect point, a very fine point, that I don't want to be told. I don't want someone to beat me with their message. When you watch a movie and they just look at you and go, you should be feeling this, that's not a good thing.
No, it's a turn off. Just offer your point of view and then let me make my own decision.
But then, again, I've had, movies end and you go, what did we just watch?
What was that even about? I don't even know.
But when you can do that balance where, right there at the end, you're kind of like, I put this together for myself. Thanks, guys.
You have that.
That's hard to do, and I thought they did that quite well. All of the other Apes movies were really good. This one is really good. I think I like this one better than the second one.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I'd have to see it again.
The first one was probably the best one.
I loved that first reboot. Great movie. So, if you don't want to go to theaters right now, something else along those lines kind of that gives you that same feel, what do you got?
Okay, well, first of all, this is not my pick. Go watch the Charlton Heston one. I love the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Somebody's streaming it right now to cash in on the name. Go watch that one, but that's not my pick. So my pick is Snowpiercer. You ever seen Snowpiercer?
I have not.
Okay, so it's a smaller movie that not a lot of people have heard, but I know it was on Netflix. It might still be right now. This was a very cold movie. Planet of the Apes, there was a lot of snow. It made me cold watching it. They were way up north somewhere.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they ever said where exactly.
Not specifically, I don't think. But so Snowpiercer, the basic story is humanity is alive on a train. There's been this, they built this train, and it was supposed to go through volcanoes and do all this stuff, and it was made to be like this tourist thing. You come ride the train, ride through a volcano, and it went through Serbia and ride through the freezing cold. So it was supposed to be this self-contained ecosystem. Well, everybody gets on the train, and natural disaster or nuclear war, I can't really remember, something happens, basically wipes out humanity.
So everybody's left on the train.
So you have this one ecosystem of this train going around and around and around. And everybody, children are born and die on this train because the world is a frozen wasteland, and it's pretty much instant death to leave the train. Well, the problem is classes have developed, and you have the upper class and the lower class, and the story basically follows a guy going from the caboose to the engine. And that's the entire movie. But it's this lower class man, and he has to fight and work his way up through the train to try to figure out what's going on. People are disappearing, and basically they're being treated bad by the upper class, and he's trying to equalize everything. So while we don't have apes, we do have this lower class.
Classes. It works.
You have the higher class, and you have humanity pretty much stripped down to, hey, we've got these 100 people left, and the visuals to me were much the same. It kind of has that dark palette with the snow added in there, and so it was a really good movie. It's kind of a cult movie already, even though it's not very old, 2 or 3 years old at this point. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a neat take, and it's hard to do. We're going to shoot this entire movie on a train.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick, Snowpiercer.
Well, I'm going to go with a bit of a ridiculous pick this time, just a little. And I'm going to say Star Trek First Contact. Now, there's no apes. There are cybernetic beings from the future coming to enslave humanity, so you kind of get that, us versus them thing. Though they are very dehumanized as far as, because they're all mechanical. But it does very much have the revenge element as a driving force for the main characters to deal with and decide, are they actually going to just go all out revenge, or are they going to maybe dial it back a little, not do that so much? So it's got that element to it. Plus it's in the vacuum of space. Where's colder than that, honestly? But, of course that happens on a ship and yours happens on a train, so we've got we were synchronizing or something, I don't know. Anyway, that's my pick. Star Trek First Contact, not really like Planet of the Apes, but it's got, again, the revenge feel, sci-fi, so, I think that's all our time. I need to quit talking. So, thanks for watching Screen It or Stream It.
And remember, don't take your kids to the movies on Tuesday nights, because that's when we go. You had to work in a Star Trek reference, didn't you?
Yes, I did.